All right, although this is the God Valley flashback, make no mistake, we are here for Rox D. Zebek, and we will be focusing mostly on him. So if the chapter does not have much to do with him, we will skim, we will recite, and we will recap, but we will not spend too much time reading everything else. All right, chapter 1159, Island of Fate. Here we go. So right now, Shaki's been captured, and Pirate Island is in shambles. Don Marlin's dead. Rox is upset. Whitebeard's giving a scowl. And our Shaki's been kidnapped. Yeah. The crime happened within a window of just a few hours. And everyone's clearly visibly upset. We skip down here. We have Garling. He's talking to his baby mama. And he's the father of Shanks and Shamrock. These are twins, obviously. And he's basically explaining to her, hey, like, God Valley won't be here anymore because it's about to be used for the hunting ground. And he stabs her in cold blood, leaving her to die. Garland calls his friends, and they begin to storm God Valley in an attempt to set everything up for the hunting ground and the celestial dragons to come and, you know, have their games, their sick-ass games they have every 5 or 4 years. Now, the Marines decided to bring on, like, new recruits, which Dragon happened to be one of the new recruits. And he was questioning, like, well, what are we doing here? What's the purpose of this operation? And basically, he was saying, yo, you're asking too many questions, bro. You're asking too many questions, bro. You about to get down and lay down, bro. And they're basically going back and forth. And Dragon was ordered to quell the citizens. And they have tranquilizer rounds. And he says, all right, like, hey, as long as I'm not killing people, then I can help in the operation. And he uses his gun to, you know, tranquilize some of the citizens. We go down, we see Ivankov, Ginny, Kuma. They're planning their escape on the ship, yes. Big News Morgans is the one who helps Ginny and them because he leaks it to Pirate Island. Pirate Island gets the word that Shaki is on God Valley. And Rox decides to go to God Valley. Now, unbeknownst to us, we didn't know why he was going at the time, but he's going to say later in the chapter. Roger's hyping up his crew. Gaban's clearly ready to, not Gaban, Rayleigh's clearly ready to go save Shakuyaku. Garp's over here ecstatic. He said, yo, why didn't you tell me Roger was going? If you should have told me Roger was, I would have showed up for Roger. Notice he never says, why didn't you tell me Rox was going? I would have showed up for Rox. And it is Roger he says that to. I wonder why. Maybe it's because he can beat Roger, but not Rox. Curious. Anywho, we see Harold's ship, the ship of the giants. It's impeding Rox's crew's way. And Harold and Rox. All right, so now we get some juicy stuff right here. All right, so we will read some of this. All right, I was told to stop a certain pirate crew that was infatuated with a single woman, Rox. If we make use of our strength, it would be child's play to sink your tiny ship. This is so arrogant. Like, Harold literally has no clue the company Rox keeps. It's, like, actually funny as hell. Do you see the boat in the distance? We've got government monitors. And you think this is winning you points with the world government? Don't you understand that we can... Don't you understand? Don't underestimate what we can do, King of the Giant of Oaths. Does it please you to serve the governments that sits on the comfortable perch and watches us destroy one another? I suppose it does, because you're the madman who wants to change Elbeth no matter what. Now, can we talk in private? I'm sure you've heard where we're going and why. Well, I'm only going to tell you this part. I'm only going to tell this next part to you. It's not even for my crew to hear. His Majesty's talking, what is His Majesty talking about over there? Well, la-di-da, he's having a toast while my beloved Shaki's waiting to be rescued. Yo, she didn't choose you, bro. You good? You can keep waiting. You good? Cheeky, I promise you you're good, bro. I promise you. You're not missing nothing over there. Anywho, the truth is I've got a hidden name, Davy D. Zebek. It's not Rox. It's the name of a clan that I suspect the world government has long tried to cover up. The descendants of the legendary pirate Davy D. Jones. He took root in the criminal underworld and continued to eke out a living even today. So Davy D. Jones is a legendary pirate. And I think we were told by Vegapunk that Joy Boy was the very first pirate. So you have two figures who are of legend, Joy Boy and then Davy D. Jones. And it was always speculated that Joy Boy was part of the Davy clan, so I wonder how that's going to play out. But we know for sure Davy D. Jones is part of the D clan, obviously. So my time was either great or terrible. You see, 2 years ago I had a kid. And to make sure that danger couldn't befall them both, I sent my wife and child to the homeland and told them to seek the Davy clan for help. I see. So you're in Ken and your wife and child are there in your homeland? And why would you admit this exploitable weakness to me? See, it's crazy that Harold would even say that because it's like you guys have history. Why would he not feel comfortable telling you about his family? Like, if anyone he should feel comfortable, it's you, Harold, because he called you friend at one time. Even though you guys don't see eye to eye now, that was your man's and you were his man's. So if I was Rox, I would have looked at him crazy for even asking me that, some shit like that. So then Rox reveals, my home is God Valley. So the government did this as a means to lure you into their clutches? Now the celestial dragons are converging on that island. They don't want me coming there. That was a miscalculation on their part. You see, I feel like I have to disagree with this. I actually feel as though this was a complete setup to actually trap Rox. Even though he doesn't feel like this, I actually think Harold was correct in this assessment. Because if I'm Garling and I take Shakuyaku, the most beautiful woman in the world, from Pirate Island, when it's controlled by Rox D. Zebek at the time, am I so arrogant to think Rox won't come after me or come to God Valley where she is? Now, we could always say, all right, well, he didn't know where he took Shaki to, and that's why he did it. You could always say that, but then you'd be underestimating the resources of someone like Rox D. Zebek, who was able to fool the government, get into the flower garden, take over Pirate Island, had the era named after him. It's just extremely suspect. All right, he says it feels as though some great act of fate is pulling all the strings behind the scenes. Kidnapping Shaki was their fatal mistake. As long as my wife and kid escape, I don't care about the rest. Whoever side fortune is on, Harold. I'm going to start calling him Harold, because I don't think his name is Harold. So we'll call him Harold. It doesn't feel like mine. So lend me your hand. I refuse. I'd rather sink your ship right now. That's your choice, so be it. Don't attack him, huh? So, obviously, Harold put up a bluff, right? He threatened to sink Rox's ship. Rox said, all right, I'm with the smoke, bro. Like, whatever you want to do, because I told you what it was. My family's in danger. Now you playing games. Now you about to become a casualty of war. But Harold was, I think he was just making a scene for the government so they wouldn't be able to use this against him. So he let Rox go. Clearly, that's what happened. All right. We get to the end of the chapter. We see the Celestial Dragons promoting their games. They got treasure chests, they got devil fruits, they got Shakuyaku. We see Dragon over here to the left side of the panel. He ran into Shanks' mom. We know that Shanks' mom because she was stabbed earlier and the twins are gone. She's asking, can Dragon help find the twins? We know this is a baby Teach and Rox's wife. And yeah, it's about to get crazy. It's about to get popping in God Valley. All right, we're going to keep going. Chapter 1160, titled The God Valley Incident. All right, so more of the same. Yes. We hate the Buccaneers. We hate the Davy clan. We hate all of you guys. You did well to find them, Garling. It was simply an act of fate. Now let's introduce the favorites to win the individual competition. So it's interesting because it's like, that would intimate that the world government has still been searching for remnants of the Davy clan. And like the search never stopped. Because we know Imu tried to eradicate them like 800 years ago. He tried to get rid of them so they could never stand up to oppose him ever. And when Saturn's saying you did well to find them, that's like, yeah, the search the search continues. You niggas will never be free. I'll never let go. All right. So we see Oath. He's not really quite a giant. He's bigger than everybody, but he's not a giant. Again, we see Teach, and they're basically giving everyone a head start to get ready to run away and get a head start, because it's a game to these people. It's a game. They just want to murder and kill for their own sick, twisted ego. All right. So this is Shanks' mother dying. Shanks and Shamrock's mother dying. She asked him if he could find the kids. Dragon runs off, willing to help her assist because he feels guilty that he even participated in this madness. And right here, all the captive citizens, they get to run away. They get a head start. I think it was like a 2-hour head start or something like that. How much time did they get? Oh, they got 1 hour. So they got 1 hour it's like hide and go seek, except these niggas are trying to kill you. Insane. And yeah. So we see Celestial Dragons shooting people, pointing guns at children, laughing about it, smirking about it, just being horrible people. He's begging for his life. She's begging, don't kill my husband. And everything's up in flames. We see Garling over here just slashing regular people. These nasty things are going excited over it. I love how Oda draws like Celestial Dragons. He makes them look goofy as hell. Like that shouldn't be underestimated. I love the fact he does that. Very good. All right, so we got Saint Gunko, and she has the arrow fruit, and these things can just pierce people like butter. She can even fly on the arrow. That's pretty cool. What else we got? We got Somers over here tormenting a kid. He put a fucking bed of thorns underneath the child. And if he falls, it's like game over. So then the father runs over thinking like, hey, stop harassing my son. Like, don't worry, son. I'm going to catch you. And the father is basically forced to run into the thorns. And I'm assuming they both die. Well, and if they didn't die on impact, then Somers definitely killed both of them after. Dragon's still here. He's feeling pretty sick. These are all the people that were killed, obviously, from Celestial Dragon shooting. And then we see one of the Celestial Dragons has an aim on Kuma. But before he can take the shot, Dragon hits him with the tranquilizer dart to knock him out, which saves Kuma's life. He just saved his second in command. All right, bam! We got the Rocks Pirates. It's the Rocks Pirates. And not just them. There are all kinds of pirate crews pulling up. I like how he used that verbiage, pulling up. Yeah, we finna pull up the God Valley, Nick. He says, all right, folks. Shaggy, Treasure, Devil Fruits. There's no point to us killing each other over them. I propose a temporary team-up with his crew. That is crazy. He has to propose that. Bring back the treasure and we'll split it even. No complaints about that, I trust. All right, and then we get everyone's individual comment. I'm not going to read them all. I'll stay here for a while if you want to. Okay, and we're gone. So, Rox is leading his band of miscreants into battle. And okay, we got Dragon over here. He was able to recover the twins. I hope we actually get to see how he found them, because the way this was drawn out, we don't really see, how he located Shanks and Shamrock. He just has them in his arms, and he's just running away. We got the Roger Pirates pulling up. Okay, we got the Gods and Knights. Basically, the Gods and Knights are saying, "Hey, we got to put this competition on hold because there's too many fuckboys coming on the island. Like, we got Rocks, we got Roger, we got Gabon. Like, we can't be playing anymore. Protect the Celestial Dragons, and let's put this on hold." All right, cool. So as we scroll down, we see Whitebeard styling on people. Whitebeard styling on people. We got Garp over here holding a cannonball. He threw that shit like a golf ball or something like that. And it causes a huge explosion. What's interesting is that Rox and Roger both noticed. It was either the hockey or the explosion that they noticed. Maybe a bit of both. He definitely put hockey on it. But the funny thing is, he's on the island or he's not on the island. Excuse me. He should be. I don't know if he touched the island yet because it looks like he's still on the ship. Okay, yeah. So look. So Garp is on his ship, right? He sees Whitebeard going crazy. Garp is on his ship. He sees Whitebeard going crazy. From his ship, he throws a cannonball to try and disrupt whatever the Rocks pirates got going on. So he would have had to use some good observation hockey to make sure none of his men would have got caught in that attack, and he would have had to be extremely precise. Stop playing with Vice Admiral Garp. All right. Next chapter. Give me some rocks. Come on, give me some rocks. Give me some rocks. One Piece chapter 1161. Again, guys, we got to skim through it because we're not here for all the extra shit, but I don't want to, just not acknowledge it. All right, so they've been at God Valley for a while, and it's turned into a battlefield of nightmares, apparently. This looks like screams all over the island. Everyone's screaming, and this shit's on fire. We got Dragon running with Shanks and Shamrock, and one of the celestial dragons catches up with them, and he confirms that she sees 2 children. She shoots some type of blast, and we don't get a confirmation of the devil fruit she's using. A lot of people have speculated that is Kizaru's light fruit, and I can see why they say that, but again, we don't have a confirmation. We see the celestial dragons bitching to the Marines like, "Hey, if I get hurt, it's your ass." Roger's calling for Shaki. Rox is asking for Eris and Teach. So Eris is his wife's name. Okay, that's his wife's name, Eris. She was able to shoot Dragon in the back. This looked like it pierced his shoulder too. Like it almost hit the baby. Like, damn, mama, you gotta chill. You almost hit the baby. And she's able to recover the kids. And Dragon's over there basically regretting that he ever even signed up for this fucking mission. And then out of nowhere, this girl gets cut in half. Like, she gets cut in half, and we scroll down, we see it's a Whitebeard and Big Mom walking. And Big Mom's basically saying, "Yo, bro, you almost killed me with that attack. Can you, chill? Can you not be so destructive?" And Dragon's looking at these guys like, "Yo, why are they so huge? Why are pirates this big? That shouldn't even be possible." But again, she got cut in half. You know what's crazy about that? So she didn't see this coming. And we can assume she's a Logia type because she's fine. But that would intimate that Logias don't have to necessarily concentrate on being their Logia form. Because she didn't know this attack was coming, yet she was bisected. Right? And when we scroll down later, I don't know where it's at. All right, fuck it. We'll just read it because there's a lot of action over here. So we got Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki, and they're all just going crazy on these pirates. They're just fucking them up. Everyone's getting worked right now. Everybody. We see Garp. He's noticing a lot of action, and he decides to take it upon himself to jump over there and stir the pot. I found myself a good fishing spot. Let me see what's up. Let me see what it do. Now, the interesting part about this is I don't care how strong you guys think Garp is. When I say you guys, I'm not talking about the viewer. I'm talking about Whitebeard and Linlin. I don't care how strong you think Garp is. There should never be a reason to be running from one man when you guys are who you are in this current era. It's pathetic. It's weak. And it's disgusting. I wish Oda never did this. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Garp fan, then yeah, this hypes Garp up to the max. This does wonders for his stock. But at the same time, now you're shitting on Whitebeard and Big Mom. Not so much Kaido, because Kaido's a kid. He's I think 17, maybe 21 at this time. So he's still a kid. He doesn't know the dangers of Garp. But a Whitebeard should, at the very least, be able to fight Garp to a standstill. That's what I would assume. And then if you have Big Mom in the mix, then it should be an overwhelming victory for these two pirates. And then you have Kaido, who's not trash. He's not going to be taken out in one hit. There's literally no reason to run from Garp. If Garp wanted to die that day, okay, I will oblige you, Garp. Come and die. But yeah. All right, so we got Dragon acknowledging his father. then Linlin, she decides to confront Garp, and she uses a named attack, Heavenly Fire Blitz. Now, this attack looks like it's a huge AoE, and I can't tell if Garp is attempting to stop it or jump out of the way. He could be doing either or. But the explosion is so big, it caught the attention of Ivankov, Kuma, and I'm assuming they're nowhere near that. But you can see it from like an outward shot. So Linlin put a lot of energy behind that attack. But she didn't put enough. Because Garp said, you call that fire, Linlin? You couldn't even cook prime ribs with this. What are you doing? You going to use that on me? Now, what's interesting about this one, guys, is we can assume that Garp used hockey to defend himself with this. And, but I don't think Garp is the type to use armament hockey on his whole body. He just doesn't give me that vibe. If anything, I think he used Conqueror's hockey as a shield, like what Rox is going to do in his fight against Garp and Roger. And actually, you know what? What supports this is Rock. I think Garp is the one who breaks this down when Roger's like, hey, we're doing damage to him, but we can't hurt him. Now we're seeing like Garp do similar feats that Rox did in his 2v1 versus him and Roger. So he no-sells this attack. And when we say no-sell, I mean like he clearly tanked it. I don't think he was damaged at all. You could maybe say he was scuffed, but you can't control clothes getting dirty. All right, so this was the same girl that Whitebeard slashed, and now she's fine. So we go back into that Logia conversation. If you catch a Logia off guard and you try and do something to them, just because they're not looking, just because they're not making their body intangible, doesn't mean that you're going to do actual damage. She's a prime example of that, because she didn't know Whitebeard was doing that attack. It came out of nowhere and just cut her in half. I think this is a celestial dragon. You thought you could take advantage of the confusion to escape. No one gets out alive, resident or pirate. Yeah. So she looks like a celestial dragon since she's attacking pirates. I don't know her name, though. All right, so on the map, we get to see where Rox is. We get to see where Roger is and the celestial dragon. So they're leaving the island, and then Rox and Roger are about to converge in the middle of the island. We got the Roger pirates. No. That's the Rox pirates, because that's... Who is that? I can't even tell, bro. Oh, that's Captain Kidd. Yeah, because he has the magnet fruit. Okay. Yeah, so we got the Rox pirates right here. We see Sommers come to see Shaki, and he's basically like talking shit to her. He's like, yo, you think you're like really pretty? Like, wouldn't it be funny if I just murdered you before Garling got here? Like, how fun would that be, Shaki? Maybe you want to try that out? I don't know. You want to try dying? That's essentially what he asked her. And, she's taunting him. She's basically saying, man, I think you pussy. I'm in handcuffs. You scared to approach me. I think you a cold pussy. That's what he told her. That's what she told him. And Sommers says, I know you didn't. And he smacks the shit out of her. Now, she takes the hit. But then as she takes the hit, she prepares her own counterattack and kicks him. Which is funny because it's like, I don't know if he's doing this to be dramatic. Like, maybe it says crack. Like, did she break his bone? She might have broke his, dislocated his shoulder. That's kind of crazy. So she kicked the shit out of him. Yeah, we can assume she broke his shoulder. Because look how it is. Like, it's indented, too. Yeah, he probably broke that jaw. So, Sommers is not having it, though. Like, he about to pull out the spiked bat. Teach Shorty, like, keep your hands to yourself type shit. So he ends up hitting her. Makes her fall to the ground. She's bleeding. Okay. And he's still talking shit to her. The more emotional choice is to kill you to make sure no one can have you. Yeah, he's basically he's sick that he can't have her. He knew that Garling was going to win the competition, so he's threatening to kill her so no one can have her. Very beta male, very sick, very weak. Anyway, so we see the Roger Pirates and the Rox Pirates. They are clashing again. Now, I hope Oda makes this clash, or not Oda. I hope the animators make this more than just a simple clash. But I would say this. We've seen Roger and Garp clash, like back when they were on their ships, and it was no problem. They looked even. We see Whitebeard and Roger clash, and they look even. So again, I'm just upset. Like, why wouldn't we go back to Roger? Not Roger. Why wouldn't we go back to Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido? They're running from Garp. It just literally doesn't make sense. And I don't know, man. Like, if you write a story, I think keeping things in line is extremely important. But who knows? Maybe it's harder than it looks. All right. So we're gonna skip to where Rayleigh shows up because he's just talking shit to Shaki, saying he's about to kill her and murder her, and he's laughing maniacally about it. And bam, Rayleigh shows up. Silver's Rayleigh has a named attack called Spider Lily Steel, and he basically one-shots Sommers. One-shot Sommers. Him and Shaki have a touching reunion, and they say, "Hey, let's get out of here," you know. Shag now or shag later. Ha ha ha. All right, next chapter. Hopefully we get some rocks. Give me some rocks. All right. Chapter 1162, God Valley Battle Royale. All right. Oh, okay, cool. We got something here. Rox and Garling are locked in combat to the northwest. Send backup. Yeah, you're going to need some backup because you're up against who? The GOAT. All right, Rox is behind the Navy's ahead. Rox is behind us. The Navy's ahead. Keep going, Rayleigh. Let me handle this one. So he's letting Rayleigh get out of there with Shaku, as he should. You know, save the princess type shit. Shiki's funny. This part is actually funny. So one of the pirates was like doing something where they could have hurt Shaki, and Shiki was getting on his ass about it. He said, don't even dream of it, you fools. Get through and you'll harm Shaki. I just thought that was funny because his whole goal was to save her. Anywho, so she's in bliss. You know, she's loving this. We got Kuma and Ivankov about to eat the devil fruits. Big Mom shows up, takes it from Kuma. Oh, no, my bad. Takes it from Ivankov. Then she tries to take Kuma's. Kuma's eats his devil fruit. And who was that? Who got kicked? Okay, Silver X got kicked by, I'm pretty sure that's Marco's father, Polo. Marco. All right, so now this is actually very important to me. So we have Garp questioning Sengoku like, hey, did you know about this? Like, did you know this was happening in God Valley? Sengoku, tell me you didn't know this was going on, man. Like, tell me something. And Sengoku, hey, well, there was one man. Hey, all I know is there was one man who might have reported something. Might be some rumors. But he vanished from the Navy's ranks. So, like, if I'm Garp, and you tell me that, like, he just vanished from the Navy's, well, did we investigate why he vanished? Do we know his name? Does he have a fam? Like, you know what? Their morality might not be that high after all, or at least Sengoku's might not, because he had the information. He just sat on it. So it's very interesting. It's like if your organization is corrupt, and you know it's corrupt, and you're not leaving the organization or trying to fix it, then you are, by definition, you got to be corrupt because you're going along with it. But this is why we respect Garp, because we know what he does in the end. All right. So from Rox's perspective, all right, here we go. Are they immortal or something? We got Era saying, let me down, Zebek. We just got to run. Everyone who got chased down transformed like that. Come back, Zebek. What the hell is that? Is it someone's powers? All right. So if you're not familiar with the ability, Imu has a power called Dami Reversi, where he can flip targets and turn them into evil demons or thralls or minions, however you want to call it. And these things are practically immortal. Practically immortal. They're not immortal. They can be killed. They are practically immortal. Now, my problem that I'm having is in the later chapters, we see that killing someone under the effects of Dami Reversi will reverse the effect of Dami Reversi. So I'm wondering if he's asking, are they immortal or something? Did he not land any killing blows on these thralls? Because that's not a good look for Rox Dieselbeck the GOAT. It's not, and I'm just being honest. It's not a good look. Now, I can say this. Maybe he couldn't land a good killing blow because he had to protect his wife and child. That's very possible. But again, if he's asking, are they immortal, then I can only think that he tried to kill them with lethal blows. I don't know how we get around that, you know? So clearly it's his dad and his granny that were hit by the effect of Dami Reversi. Now, the question that we need to ask is, number one, was this Dami Reversi used by the tendrils that Imu has, or was this Dami Reversi used by the actual flipping method? Right? So let me explain the difference. In the flipping method, Imu creates almost like a pentagram or a dark circle, an abyss circle, and the target is flipped. Literally, they go under, they flip, they come back up as demons, right? That's the one method of using Dami Reversi. The other method of Dami Reversi is when Imu uses his actual tendrils to touch the target, and I don't know what he's doing to them specifically. Maybe he's injecting them with demonic aura or whatever, but that's the other method. So I'm curious as to which method was used here. Based on the fact that Imu isn't physically there yet, I'm going to assume they were flipped. Meaning Imu can do this ability from remote, because he hasn't yet taken over Saint Saturn's body, which is very curious. Because, like, how does it work? Can he grant another Gorosei member the power to flip if he deems it? I don't know. All right, so we have Garling saying he's strong, no doubt. The wounds he's inflicted will take longer to regenerate. Like, this is actually a fatal wound. Like, his head, he split your shit, Garling. Like, he literally split your shit. Like, this shit is nasty. But now we know that he's one of the Davy clan. The Great One will be delighted if we can take him out. Yes, the game is ruined, but this is a stroke of luck. Now we have Eris asking Rox to let her down. She's basically telling him, hey, like, you know, we're bait. They're just trying to use us so they can kill you. So you should just let me go. Let me run on my own. That way you can fight these guys with all you got. You know, you can two-hand your sword. You can use your name attacks. You can get rid of, you can mop them up. And basically Rox is saying, like, hey, you know what? I love you, girl. You're right. You're right. You're right. But don't be an idiot. Don't get caught. If things look bad, meet me at Lulusia Kingdom. That's what he told Eris. If you don't see me, meet me at Lulusia Kingdom. Then we got this nigga. He's finally relinquished his wife and son. So how shall I attack? Like, he's excited that he got rid of his wife and son, but you were getting bodied when he had them. So it's just like, you think it's going to go better for you now that he's not distracted? All right. So we see Rox preparing to do an attack. We see Garling acknowledge the attack. And then he does like a sword swing down. Now, I wonder if this was to create a fissure, right? To make it hard to reach Eris and Teach. Because you can see this attack go all the way across the island of God Valley. Like, I would equate this to like when Mihawk did his one-handed slash against Whitebeard, except this looks like it's on a whole different scale of power. And it debatably, well, I can't say it traveled further because Jozu stopped Mihawk's attack, but this is no slight. This is no, you know, this is pretty good. So then we have Rox saying, stay here with me, I insist. Now come and do your worst, you monster. So he's taking on Garling. He's taking on the assistant who was with Garling, the other God's Knight, whatever that girl was. He's taking on his mom. He's taking on his dad. And then whoever these members were too. So that's like a heavy order because they're all immortal, supposedly, allegedly. And then you have two of them who are actually God's Knights who should know how to fight. The only problem is with this, we don't know how strong Garling is. So deriving how strong Rox is, it's like anyone's guess at that point. But we know Rox is stronger than Garling. We just don't know by how much. Because we've never seen Garling fight anybody. And this is the problem I have with Oda sometimes. Like, if he's... You have to establish a bridge for your character. You can't just have Rox fight giants like Harold the whole time and not see him fight a Garp and not see him fight a Roger, not see him fight Whitebeard. You can't just have him fight Harold, right? Because then when we see him, well, we don't even get to see him fight Garling. Maybe in the anime they'll animate it and we can get some more context. But if this is all we get, then I don't know where to go from here. Like, how strong is Garling? I don't know. We just know he's weaker than Rox. Well, how strong is Rox? I don't know. We just know he can tie with Harold. It's just too many unknown variables. I would have had Garling fight maybe fucking Gabon on his way here. Maybe he doesn't beat Gabon. Maybe Gabon doesn't beat him. Maybe they stalemate. Cool. All right, now we know where he is, at least. But him just losing to Rox, it doesn't tell us how strong Garling is. All right, and we continue. So we see Eris running with Teach. Now, Big Mom has got the double fruit from Ivankov, and she's about to put that joint in the pocket. Wait, hold up. Louisville Slugger. Bang! So Kaido hits Big Mom, and, you know, obviously she drops the fruit. And before the fruit can even touch the ground and touch his hands, this man jumped out and ate it. Look at Kaido's face, yo. Yeah, this boy is crazy. Big Mom is sick. So she says, damn you, Kaido. And then we see an explosion with hockey. Looks like maybe fire, but definitely hockey streaks coming off of it. All right, so it looks like Dragon was able to recover one of the children because we know the Celestial Dragon has the other. Eris is still running with Teach. And it looks like the Roger Pirates have found money, gold, etc. They look happy. All right, now here we go. We got an important part. So it says, God Valley is unaffiliated with the government. Therefore, I want to save as many of these people as I possibly can. So Kuma's, you know, he on his save a hoe shit. Now this is the important. Okay, so we have Imu dialing in with Saturn. You know, we know they have telepathy. Imu says, Saturn, is Rox dead? Now, who told Imu that Rox was on the island? That's what I want to know. Who told him that? Because actually, I don't know. I don't know who would have told him. I mean, I guess Saturn could have told him, I guess, but we didn't see it. We can assume Saturn told him, whatever. Saturn says, I could not say. This is also unexpected. If anything, there's a danger that such wanton destruction, what is that? A dragon? Might bring about the birth of something entirely new. That must not happen. All right, so hold up. Let's bring it back again. So Saturn says, I cannot say. He can't say if Rox is dead. But this is also unexpected. All right, so that debunks the whole idea that Rox was lured to God Valley. Because Saturn didn't even know anything about it. So, all right, we'll give them that. They didn't set Rox up. Cool. But he says, if anything, there's a danger that such, I don't know what the fuck a wanton destruction is. I don't know what that means. But it says it might bring about the birth of something entirely new. And then Imu says, that must not happen. So what is this destruction that could bring about the birth of something entirely new? That even Imu was saying this must not happen. I have no clue. Maybe someone who speculates on One Piece's lore could answer that better, but I have no clue. It's just very interesting though, because it's like whatever it is, it's at God Valley. And if the Davy clan retreated to God Valley, maybe it's like the remnants of Davy Jones, possibly. I don't know. But that's just like my best guess off top. All right, we have people thinking Kuma's getting people off the island. And then, bam, we see a huge hockey explosion, hockey waves coming off. So strong it was able to get the attention of the strongest people on the island. All right, so in the right side of the panel, we see a spider-looking type of thing. And then we see Roger's crew are not acknowledging Rox's crew, and Roger's like, hold up, I see them, but we got bigger fish to fry. Now look at this. We got Rox over here looking like a god. He's looking like a god. You dare use my family against me? Is this going to be my end? Of course. I'll fight to kill you. He said, if this is going to be my end, of course, I'll fight to kill you. Now, it's interesting because if he had killed, oh my God, if he had just killed Garling, Rox, you might have lived to see another day. I'll say this, maybe he thought Garling was actually immortal and figured this was the best he could do. And that's why he didn't go for the killing blow. Maybe he actually tried to kill him, but he just couldn't figure out a way to do it. All right. So now we see Rox saying, hey, there's nothing in it for you. You sure you want to help? Whitebeard pulled up. He says, don't worry about it. I've been drinking on your tab this whole time. So Whitebeard's finally repaying the debt. Rox is wondering why it's getting hard to care for Eris and Teach. It's because this nigga Whitebeard been running up his tab. We got Kaido coming through. Hey, you two, check this out. All right, now we have Imu possessing a Gorosei, Saint Saturn. Saint Saturn, why do you look like that? It's a monster. Then we got the Rocks Pirates over here. We got Garp, Roger, and we'll read the last part. Kaido says, I finally got my own power to use. I want to test out my new strength. Good for you. As far as I can tell, you're having the most fun of anyone right now. That's all well and good, but can I ask, what in the world is that? Now, I know I'm dreaming. What is this island? What is that you say? If I had to call it anything, that represents, we're just going to read it, the world. Roger said, what grand days of adventure we live in. I still have so much to learn. All right, so, boom, we got Imu possessing Saturn in his spider form. Rox was able to body Garling and all those thralls. But it's like, all right, but see, no, here's the inconsistent shit. So if he was, where are the thralls at? Where are they at? Did he kill them too? Did they revert back to people? Oh my God, I'm getting madder and madder reading this. All right, chapter 1163, Promise. Saint Saturn, why do you look like that? Are those devil fruit powers? Nuisances. Like, what is going on with Emu's power? I don't, because these are clear, like Saturn can't do this. We've seen Saturn fight an Egghead and we've never seen him extend his limb and like dark shadows come off of it. So that's clearly due to Imu possessing him. And he's over here just running through the Marine soldiers like they're not on his side. I don't know why he would do that, but anywho. They're asking why is it attacking Navy soldiers? And we got the pirates trying to run while it's attacking them as well. It's on nobody's side, he said. And Roger's basically prompting his crew to get out of there. He's like, hey, y'all need to get out of here, back up. It's about to get crazy. I need you to go back to the ship so I don't have to worry about you. Just go on now. Go on, Lee. That's what he's telling Gabon. Garp says, hey, what's that? What's going on over there? What is that monster? I don't know. Saint Saturn just started transforming before our eyes. The 5 elders, huh? Never seen him before. Looks about right for the kind of freak who'd sit and atop those maggots. Hey, you, king of the beguiled rats. You're here to kill me, aren't you? All right, so we got some rocks. We love this. We love this. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. So we got rocks acknowledging Imu. Imu says, so it was thee, Davy Jones. You got the wrong guy. I've never even met him. However, promises are meant to be kept, which is exactly why that kind must be erased from history. So from this we can gather that whatever heritage in the Davy clan is that they have going on, it's clear that they pass it down from generation to generation. Because he tries to taunt him by calling him the king of the rats. He knows he's here to kill him because he snuck into the flower room all those years ago. So that's not a surprise. But when he says promises are meant to be kept, he's not talking about his promise. He's definitely talking about Davy's promise. So we know Davy made a promise to Imu, and we know that promise was shared with the rest of the Davy clan, or at least a select few members, because Rox knows it as well. I mean, how else do we think he got all this information about Imu, Flower Room, 2 Delver fruits he needs to take him down? How else would he know that unless information was given to him prior, right? That makes sense. So, Imu said, which is exactly why that kind must be erased from history. My world. Okay, now we see Imu attempting to attack rocks. Now, this isn't going to do it for me. Like, whatever rocks does, let me not say that because the animation might look good. But I don't know. He just doesn't get that much stripes from me because we've already seen Saturn attack the Straw Hats, and he was pathetic. He used his pointy claw on Chopper. Chopper used guard point, and Chopper didn't pop like a balloon. So I'm not really trying to see anything from a Saturn that's being possessed by Imu. I really don't think it make that big of a difference. So Imu's basically saying his world is still incomplete. Rock said, yo, it ain't your world, bro. And he's able to easily cut off the leg of possessed Saturn. We see Garp here looking very devilish. He says, look at Rocks. He dares attack St. Saturn. These dumbass Marines. Should we offer help, Rear Admiral? Excuse me. Of course we're helping out. Move it. Huh? Wait a second. Helping out which side? So the Marines are obviously seeing that Garp's about to go crazy on Saturn. Alright, so Dragon's still running with Shanks, trying to get him to safety. Captain John's pulling in all the treasure. He trying to get his big one, boy. He trying to get his big one. We see Gozui. I think he flicks a booger at John, and it actually hits him. And I believe it was enough to one-shot John, too. I think it one-shot him. Not to say he died, but I think it just knocked him unconscious. Gonzui, that's his name, Gonzui. He asked, yo, why'd you shoot John, dickhead? We on the same team. And he's like, do you really think he's going to share the treasure with us? And then when he says that, each of these chests is worth at least 1 billion berries. Ain't annoyed, want to keep it all to himself. So then we see Shiki kind of look back at John with that menacing look like he's about to take him out. Alright, so the Marines are trying to hold back Garp from attacking Saturn. And we see Rocks over here just fighting off Imu. But Kaido and Whitebeard have yet to make any moves. They're just kind of watching on the sidelines as their captain fights this thing. What are friends for? Alright, we got Big Mom coming back in. Clearly mad at Kaido. And now we see everyone getting ready to charge up their attacks to back up Rocks because Imu is attacking Marines. He's attacking pirates. He's attacking Roger pirates. Rocks pirates. He's attacking everybody. So Imu don't got no friends. No new friends. No new friends. Alright, now this might be the most perplexing thing. So, Garp did his Galaxy Impact. Roger did his Divine Departure. Rocks did his attack called Pandemonium. This is the first name attack we've ever gotten from Rocks. Pandemonium. Whitebeard did his attack Chalk Hakua. Big Mom, Ikaku Sovereignty, and kind of just a drag on and shot. So they jumped him. They jumped Imu. They jumped Imu Possessed Saturn. And the interesting thing about this jumping is we know this isn't Imu's actual body. It's not even his ethereal body, right? He's just possessing Saturn. What's concerning is the attacks have no effect. And it's almost like, well, how do we get around that? But as we keep going, we see an explosion happen from all their attacks. And what's happening over here? The Marines get knocked out, I'm guessing, or they're just getting knocked back from the wave. And we see Imu still is just reforming as if nothing really happened. And I don't like that because hockey is supposed to make a difference in a lot of cases. And I know we're up against Imu, but at the time, these are your best hockey users in the world. Like, these are your best hockey users. So for Imu to come out unscathed, he's not even panting, and he just gets to reform as if nothing happened in his silhouette. It's very, like, frustrating for me. Okay. So we have Kaido and Big Mom bickering down here. So we can assume this is why no one helps Rocks, because they're bickering down here. They're bickering over here. He says, I can't spit it out. I've already eaten it. Give me money then. My blow did the trick. No, it was mine. So Rocks is the only one locked in. Right? He's the only one focused on Imu. And as he should be, because he knows the threat level more than anyone else. So I'm not necessarily mad, but, you're in the middle of a battle, guys. Be more attentive. Goddamn. Who's Whitebeard talking to, though? All right, so we see Imu saying, I can see them running through the distant forest. And then Rox says, are you talking? He says, who are you talking about? New Davies, a woman and child, striving so very hard to live. A pestilence that must not be unleashed upon the world. So this part never sat right with me either. We know Imu can talk to his subordinates via telepathy, but he cannot see through their eyes. Like, that's never been confirmed. That's never been shown or suggested. Where did he get the idea that these two are related to Rocks? Who conveyed that information to him? Let's say Garling did. Garling would have to describe to a T what these people look like, because I doubt Rocks' wife and child are the only ones running that are a wife and child. It's just like kind of messy. It's like, well, how does he know that these are Rocks' wife and child? How does he really know that? So these taunts get the Rocks, and Rocks jumps up there and he tries to, Swiss cheese my boy Imu. He says, hey, whatever you're thinking, don't do it. I can't tell who's looking at him. Is that Garp Roger? I think that's Garp. So Garp's locked in. And I'm assuming this happens quick, which is why Rocks couldn't react to it. And I'm assuming he's using hockey as well. But maybe he's not, because the blade's not blackened. So he cuts him up. He says, Mu, I will do nothing. What is this? It doesn't even hurt. Thou wilt end thy own bloodline. Slaughter thy wife and child. What? Are you crazy? I'm not going to do that. Dami Reversi. Now, this is what I don't like. All these, you got 6 people here. 1, 2, 3, my bad. 4, and then 5, Kaido. You got 5 people here just watching as Rox is being Dami Reversi'd. And I guess he's so high up, they can't see what's going on with him, I guess. But even if that's the case, why are we all just sitting there? Why wouldn't we take action at all? It just doesn't make sense. Like, I literally hate this type of writing. Like, if we're going to do this, Oda, make it so they're actually occupied, so they're not just looking incompetent. Because that's how they look. They just watched Tendrils impale him. They might not be able to know he's about to be turned into a demon, but you can definitely see something is happening up there. You can see it. Next, we see Rox beginning to turn into a demon, and his wife and child are still running through the forest. All right, next chapter. Now we got some rocks. All right, 1164, David Blood. David Blood. He's even screaming. He's screaming up there, and no one's doing anything. He's just going to say, what is it, Rox? Like, go help him. You just did your best attacks on Imu. He didn't die. Why are we sitting there as, you know what? Let's go. Did our attacks do nothing to that spider? Obviously. Now, persistent thou art. Don't downplay the power of humanity, monster. Now, what's interesting about this is the only time we've seen Dami Reversi not work is against Loki and Luffy. Luffy when he was in his Nika form, and Luffy when he was transformed into his Nidhogg form. But Rox wasn't turned immediately. So I'm wondering if the tendrils are less effective than flipping with the actual Dami Reversi. Like, I wonder. Because when Imu tried to Dami Reversi Luffy and Loki with his tendrils, he said, I knew it wouldn't work. We don't know why he knew it wouldn't work, but he knew it wouldn't work. He tried to Dami Reversi Rox, and he says persistent, meaning like, usually this doesn't fail. Like, you shouldn't be immune to this. Why are you so persistent? So I'm just curious to, like, what's the factor? Is it will? Is it cool-headedness? Is it calmness? We don't know. Rock says Davy Jones was once the king of the world. Silence. He was never king. Not for an instant. The grievance between Mu and Davy has nothing to do with thee. Then why are you so panicked over something as trivial as the Davy name? So it looks like they just like rage baiting each other. He's rage baiting him with kids. He's rage baiting the emu with Davy. It's kept you terrified for years, hasn't it? The thought that Davy's will might be passed down and one day come for you to fulfill the promise. Right. So this reinforces what I said about him knowing the promise that Davy made to Mu. And it got to be traditional at this point because, you know, Davy existed 800 years ago. What's more frightening to you, Davy D. Jones or Joy Boy? See, this statement right here, it really lets me know that Rox was the first pirate king. There's no gonna. Rox was the first pirate king. He already knew all the secrets of the world. He already knew what he wanted to do to become the leader of the new world. Like, whatever we're gonna find on Raftail, if it's not more information than Rox knew, then I don't want to hear it. Respectfully, I don't want to hear it. He didn't even need to find the One Piece to take down Emu. He just needed 2 devil fruits and Harold's help. He didn't need the One Piece. So Roger can be the second pirate king. You know, Luffy can be the third pirate king. All right, as we keep going. Cease thy dreaming. Their kind will never be seen again once I have eradicated thee. I have found excellent soldiers to serve Mu, Davy. It's funny he just calls this man Davy like, I told you my name was Rox. He says, gigantic, harmless, and conflicted. The giants, you fool. Don't mess with Harald. They only want peace. Indeed, a golden opportunity. Such a willing puppet of a king will never come along twice. So now we can see the effects of Dami Reversi starting to take effect. Just like thee, in fact. Now stop wasting time. Now, a lot of people have speculated that Dami Reversi is tied to emotions and cool-headedness and keeping a calm demeanor. And they speculate that Imu purposely said words to get Rox off his square. And that made it easier for the Dami Reversi effect to happen. Now, that could be true. Or it could be that the tendrils were just in him long enough to take an effect. It could be either or. I'm not mad at either answer. All right. He says, he says, just like thee, in fact. Now stop wasting time and bring an end to the dream of Davy. Then he just drops rocks from like probably 100 feet, maybe more. And these niggas still haven't moved yet. It's like, what are y'all doing, bro? Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I know you don't ride for rocks, but like, if we're attacking the same enemy, I would think you have some type of battle sense. You know, you see me in a clutch, maybe don't let him have his fucking way with me, goofy. All right, we see Rock say, "Damn it, I'm going to disappear." So he's fighting off his he's trying to fight it, but he can't. We got Linland asking, "What did it do to you? What happened up there, Rocks?" So, and this is another thing, right? Like, he's clearly a different person. He has fangs. He has wings. He has a smile he didn't have before. He's grown in size. So we have Mu saying, "End Davy by thy own hand. Now erase all the life that was involved with the God Valley." Did you get bigger? All of you move it. There is blood that must be erased from history. First thing he does is he jumps at Kaido. Kaido says, "Hey, Rox, what are you doing?" And he basically just throws Kaido into a mountain. Like, dragon form Kaido into a mountain. And he used Haki behind the throw too, which is, you know, to be expected, I guess. Which is actually very important. Okay, he used Haki during this throw. He used Haki. Let's keep that in mind because we're going to come back to that. So Kaido, this knocked Kaido out. Damn you, Rox. Are you turning on your own people? And again, this is the buffoonery. You know what? Maybe I should expect this from someone like Linlin. He doesn't even look like the same goddamn person. You've never known him to eat a devil fruit. So the first thing you're gonna think is he betrayed you. Why is the first thought not maybe he is being controlled by that thing that had him up there for 2 minutes while we were bullshitting? Why is that not the first thought? Just kind of crazy. So again, she goes to attack him, and he one-shots her. It looks like he uses his knee. Again, we can see hockey coming off of that attack. Bam. So Linlin gets one shot too. We got Whitebeard. Is that all we are to you, Rox? Impediments? Rox says yes. We see him charging him attack for Whitebeard, and Whitebeard. Now, this is interesting. This is the first time we've ever seen. No, it's not the first time. We've seen Whitebeard use his gore to clash with Odin, but he never uses it to clash with Roger. And people have said this before, like when Whitebeard is fighting Roger, he's always holding back. Always. Because if you use the Gora, it's not fair. We can see Rox two-handed this attack and Whitebeard one-handed with the Gora. I don't like this because if Rox is Dami reversied, him using two hands should not be clashing with Whitebeard. But at this point, man, a clash in one piece does not signify equal strength in every moment. I think context matters. And I just think he didn't want to disrespect Whitebeard and his legacy, so he didn't make him go like that, right? He didn't make him out to look weak or anything. So I think that's why he's, still standing the way he is. But, their clash was able to split this huge pillar, this huge mountain, just their clash. And this big ass thing fell over. I wonder how many people died from this. This thing just falling over. Can you imagine how many people just died? They didn't even know what was happening. Think of One Piece fan letter. If they did a One Piece fan letter, God Valley. Oh my God, Oda, you could retire, bro. You could retire, bro. You know how many people would watch that shit? From the Marines' perspective of God Valley, that'd be sick, bro. This part would go hard. All right. So we see Rox. He looks bloody, so that means Whitebeard did some damage to him. But we see him moving on, and Whitebeard's not. So he got past him. Eris and Teacher still running. Looks like the battleships are either leaving God Valley or coming to. I can't really tell. Oh, no, they're coming to pick up the Celestial Dragons, yeah. Got Gaban, Shaku. All right, cool. So we got Rox. He caught up with his wife and child. She says, Zebek, you look just like... So you lost then. I'm sorry, dear. You had to face... I'm sorry, dear. You had to face off in order to save us. But it was too early, wasn't it? Oh, Teach. So this is nice because this means that Rox shared his plan with Eris. It means he trusted her enough to let her know his game plan and his methodology for taking down Imu and becoming king of the world. But she feels bad because, she feels like she's the reason he got Dami reversing. And she was actually ready to kill herself. She says, we'll jump into the sea. We just have to swim. Oh, no, she wasn't ready to kill herself. I take that back. She says, whatever it takes to keep the Davy blood alive. See, that is a good woman, bro. She ain't been a Davy member for more than 6 years, most likely. And she's willing to do whatever it takes. You have to survive, no matter what it takes. Now, I don't know if that might be Rock saying that. Oh, no. She's saying that about Teach, I'm assuming. Yeah. So as Rox is about to hit Eris and Teach, not only that, cannonballs are firing at her. So she's in a pincer attack. But who do we have over here? It's the GOAT. It's Kuma. So Kuma, not even knowing what the hell is going on probably, he just jumps in and uses his pawpaw fruit to send them somewhere else. Then... So not only did Kuma have enough time to get over there and save Eris and Teach before Rox's sword could, he's still mid-swing. Kuma has enough time to look over at Rox, acknowledge that he's about to be attacked, and then poof himself out of the way so he doesn't die by Rox's swing. Oda, I need you to know, like, when you do these type of things, people look into them and they start to downplay your characters. Because I'm about to do it. You're telling me that Rock's swing is so slow that Kuma was able to intercept it and then not only save the people, he acknowledged Rocks and then got himself out of harm's way. That's how slow a Dami reversed Rocks is swinging. I mean, but luckily I know this is just for plot. You know, I would never do this. You got to be a sick human being to think, you know, this is how it would actually go. No, Kuma would have died. But we can't have Kuma die. He has to save the Straw Hats. All right, cool. So we got Mu. He's still possessing Saturn. Continue, Davy. Snuff out every light of life left on the island, so he can give commands to his Dami Reversing victims remotely. So at this point, Roger and Garp, they want to leave, but they're trying to make sure everyone's on the ship. They're trying to make sure everyone's okay. Rox is going crazy. He's killing pirates. He's killing Marines, women. He's killing children. He's killing everybody. He don't care who he hurts. He's killing everybody. So we got Garp here. We got Roger here. Now, Roger looks like he doesn't even want to do this right now. He doesn't want to fight. But they both call out Rox because I don't know why they call out Rox. Maybe because they felt bad for him. But where were these niggas when he was getting Dami Reversi? Like, did they just leave? They did their one attack against Emu, then they just dipped off? Like, why did that happen? Yeah, because after he's Dami Reversi, the only people down there are the Rox Pirates, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom. Where did Garp and Roger go? Number one, why would Garp leave? Because Saturn was literally just killing Marines. All right, if Roger left, that's fine. But what was Garp's reason for leaving? It just doesn't really make sense again. All right, we have Emu calling Davy's name, Davy. And we got the face-off. He's like a mini giant compared to them. Actually, he looks like Kaido in his normal form. These two look like Luffy and Kid, I guess. But Rox is extremely, bigger. Physicality. Look, what a mess you are. Can't let you go after my crew. He wasn't even going after your crew, though. Well, maybe he was. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So now we have Garp using the voice of all things, Roger using the voice of all things, and Rox using the voice of all things. That's interesting. They all had it. Roger, Garp, what's that voice? Help me. So this is very important because it's been at least, maybe 5 minutes he's been Dami Reversing, but he's still able to call out for Roger and Garp to help free him of this curse. So it's like, all right, if you're Dami Reversing, maybe not everyone, but if you have a strong enough will, you're still inside there some way, somehow. You're still inside there. It's not completely over for you. Anywho, why do you look like that? Please, just kill me. Now, I wish his last words were something more meaningful instead of please just kill me. You could have said, hey, that thing did this to me. And then at least they know what they're dealing with, right? They know, oh, you transformed. Okay, he did that to you. Okay, cool, bro. Got you. All right. Now we get into the 2v1. Reverberations. Chapter 1165. So we still have Rox crying out, please, using the voice of all things. You hear that too? Yeah. And he says, just kill me. His words, his attitude, his expression, they're all telling different stories. All right, so he's showing extreme emotion, which shouldn't be possible because he should just be a body, right? That's under command. He should just be a body. He shouldn't be able to cry on his own. Crying would intimate that he has some form of self-control, at least to some capacity. But let's get into the fight. He swings at Garp first. My bad. No, he swings at Roger. Roger's loading up his attack. Garp's on standby, ready to get the follow-up. And I don't like this. So they got to stop doing this shit. He's using both hands, and he's matching with Roger, like Roger should have went flying. If I don't go down, if I go down and Roger wasn't sent flying, I'm gonna have an issue with this. We got Garp on the follow up. You know, he about to hit him with that Galaxy Impact. And all right, bam, he lands a clean hit on Rox, right in the face. Now Rox doesn't go flying back, but he does take a step back, and it looks like he's driving the fist more in his face. It looks like he's literally trying to push Rox back still, but it's just not happening. Rox is still, or Roger's still in a clinch with his sword with him, and then Rox is able to finally push both of them back. But do we see the problem with this? I hope we all see the problem with this. So we have Whitebeard using one arm in the gore to block Adami Reversing Rox. Then you got motherfucking Roger using two arms, while Rox is using two arms to block Adami. Like if people who are close to being on par with you or at your level can still block your attacks successfully after you've gotten a buff, then it stands to reason that the buff just isn't that powerful. Like, that's the best conclusion I can come up with. And we're not saying, Rox didn't get any stronger. He clearly got stronger. He's able to take on Garp and Roger. But some of these scenes, some of these moments, they just shouldn't be able to exist, especially like one like this. He's two-handing his blade, and Roger's two-handing his blade. Like, I'm almost thinking, all right, so if Rox isn't under Dami Reversi, does Roger win that clash? Does he push Rox back? And I shouldn't be thinking that. So Rox is able to push them back, and it looks like he's releasing a lot of Conqueror's Hockey off of it. It looks like it's going all throughout the entire island. Come down here, we can even see some clouds starting to split. Someone says, why does the sky look like that? It's split in half. We got to evacuate before we're all dead. So I guess that means Rox did a solo sky split. See, and that's really good that he was able to split the sky by himself. But then we have instances like this where it kind of negates, all the hype, all the power that's behind him. All right. So they said, let's steal the ship and get off this island. What do you mean? Rox's ship? You really think he's coming back? Yeah. This is the end of the Rox pirates. Hurry to the shore. That's crazy. That's crazy. Leave it to Shiki. See, Shiki a nigga. That's why he acting like that. What did you say, Vice Admiral Garp? Once you've got every living resident and sailor on board, shovel off and get out of here. What's happening on the island, Roger? Once Rayleigh and them get to you, wait off the coast. All right, so basically Roger and Garp are telling their comrades, like, yo, don't wait up. We gonna handle this Rox character. We gonna see you on the sea. You know. Rox, Roger, I came here intending to arrest you, both. But yeah, and my plan was to steal Shaki and the treasure and hightail it out of here. Now that's funny. So Garp came here coming to arrest both Roger and Rox. That's pretty brazy. That's pretty brazy there, Garp. I like the confidence, though. You couldn't have took Rox, but maybe Roger. All right. Instead, shall we team up for a minute like you guys weren't already teaming up? I have a number of issues with this, but I can't afford to let him run free. All right, and we're back into the action. So now I'm assuming Rox attempted to just dash, maybe catch Garp off guard, and Garp has like no problem reacting to it, like no problem. Again, it's like, all right, how strong is the Dami Reversi buff really? It looks like these guys are doing fine keeping up with him. I think the biggest advantage of Dami Reversi so far is that you just become extremely hard to kill because you regenerate to some capacity. That's probably its biggest advantage, but because I'm not seeing the stat boost that I would think I'd get from Adami Versi. The man got bigger, so that should imply he got stronger and faster. But again, we're not getting that. So again, Garp easily evades this attack. He jumps right over rocks. Looks like Roger is preparing something in the background, from what I could tell. Yeah, he's preparing a sword swing. Looks like he shoots an attack, obviously coded with Conqueror's Hockey. And that attack gets rocks stuck in the wall. Like, he's literally stuck. Looking goofy as hell. See, this took all the ore away from rocks. Not gonna lie. That look you've got. The curse. Is there any way to break it? Alright, so Garp is showing a level of intelligence and intellect that I love to see characters show. Right? He's not saying, "Oh, rocks, why are you doing this? What's gotten into you, rocks? Why would you do it?" No. He clearly knows something's wrong with rocks. He clearly knows it. Okay, we have Roger about to follow up with an attack after Garp was able to throw him. I do like the teamwork, though. I like that. Like, even if we go back up, boom, he does a thrust attack, jumps over. Roger prepares with a sword attack. Hits him in the back, gets him caught in the wall. Boom, he's caught in the wall. We grab that leg, throw that motherfucker. Throw that motherfucker. All right. Just wake up. And they're really trying to bring this man back to his senses. All right, faster. Roger's going to keep fighting until we've evacuated the island. That hockey's off the charts. And Gloriosa's running right next to Gabon. We got Big Mom and Kaido. Listen up, Kaido. You owe me for the rest of your life. You're going to make good on that. Fat chances. It was finders keepers, Lin, and you lost. Just watch me. I'm going to create a new crew where violence rules all. And he went and did that. Shout out to Kaido. You think you're hot stuff? You think you're hot stuff now. Keep dreaming of the day you'll beat me. It'll never come. Come, Lin. Let's get moving. Carry this treasure. I'll come and collect one day, and I'll be waiting to crush your spirit. Yeah, even this interaction with Kaido and Big Mom, it seemed a little like forced. Just a little bit, because they had a really good relationship up until this point. So for her to, go completely, for both of them to go completely, all right, fuck you, okay, yeah, fuck you, if I see you when the season's up. For them to both have that energy, it's just kind of like, I don't know. All right, now this panel is very interesting. What's going on here? So it looks like Roger was hit back. But did this attack actually land on Rox's arm? I'm wondering if that landed on his arm. I can't really tell. But if it did land on his arm, I don't think it did any visible damage. And we're going to get into that soon. So keep that in mind. This attack most likely didn't do any damage. All right, we got Newgate. You're the one who knocked down that mountain. Aren't you Newgate? Who are you? Looks like your crew's falling apart. The name's Graham, captain of the Polo Pirates, Polo Graham. So obviously, did a funny joke, named the son Marco, the father Polo, Marco Polo, right? I'm a big fan of yours. Say, you got no ship to go back to, huh? Team up with me instead. Get out of my hair. So, he's trying to ride Whitebeard's coattail. I don't know how you're just a fan of a nigga. Like, if you're a pirate, if you're a captain pirate, you're so much of a fan, you left your own crew to join another crew. It's kind of crazy. All right, hey, where did Newgate go? That's Stussy asking. Don't ask me. What are you doing, Dragon? Calm down. Dang. So Dragon out here tripping. No, what are you people doing? Did you know what we were aiding here? Put them on our ship right now. We have to rescue them. And if anyone argues against it, I'll execute him on the spot. So Dragon is like literally with the shits. Like, he's not going for none of that, it's just a marine exercise and, you don't have to kill these people. Just use your train. He's not going for none of it. And this is what you would expect from the future head of the Revolutionary Army. This is exactly what you want to see. Very good stuff. This isn't going to end here, Dragon. It better not. Yeah, talk to that nigga, Dragon. Rayleigh, Gabon, where are you going? Don't you dare follow us. Take the ship out into open water and wait. That island will never have existed. Understood? So this still looks like Imu possessing Saturn. You can tell because the eyes are rippled. So anytime we see that, that's definitely an Imu possession. But he was saying this island will never have existed. Understood? Narrator says the God Valley incident. S-level top secret classification. Records of the clandestine operations and special hazard pay. Clandestine means secret, in case you guys didn't know that. And special hazard pay for Naval Base G11 and Cipher Pole number 6. Interesting. They got hazard pay? That's crazy. Registry of participants in the human hunt expunged. Site of event, God Valley. Island location, area population details erased. Number of fatalities unknown. Damn. And they still rocking this shit. They're still rocking the island. Garp, did you know about that enormous black monster the government has? And they call themselves the good guys. Can't believe it either. So that's Roger asking Garp if he knew about, Imu possessing Saturn. If you're going to quit the Navy, come join us. Don't be an idiot. If I quit, who's going to watch out for the rank and file? And see, this is why you got to respect Garp to some capacity as well. Because he knows he can still make change. He can still help out. Even though it's a corrupt organization, he can still do something on the back end. Unlike Son Goku, who had news of someone disappearing because he was asking too many questions and just sat on the information. That's wild. All right, now this is the important part. So it all comes down to mass, doesn't it, Garp? Mass? What do you mean? All right, so that's clearly like this verbiage isn't common. It's not common when we're talking about hockey. Like hockey mass is not necessarily a known thing. Roger is just expressing, he's just expressing a different way to put all your power behind an attack. Because if mass was an actual thing, Garp would have said yes. Garp would have said, I get what you're saying. But Garp says, what do you mean? So this is clearly not, something that's the regular. Roger goes on to explain, first of all, the color of armament is a power that doesn't yield to the devil fruits. And on top of that, I was wraithed in color of the Supreme King. There's no way it couldn't have hurt him. Yeah, but he was guarding with Supreme King too. So they cancel out. Exactly my point. There's no damage unless we surpass that. Hence him saying it all comes down to mass. So when you think mass, you should be thinking weight or volume or something of that capacity, right? That's what mass is synonymous with. But let's keep going. If it's all down to who wears out first, we'll lose. There's no way to keep up with a monster like that thing. So what? You want to hit him with the critical mass of supreme hockey? So now this is Garp, right, going along with the verbiage because Roger has explained it. So now they're on the same level. He understands. So you want to hit him with a critical mass of Supreme King hockey? Exactly. Don't even think about whatever stamina you'd need after. In that case, you're saying we don't come back from this alive. If we can pull this off, all three of us would be down for the count. But if we miss, we're done for. So it looks like they're about to ready themselves for their final attack. Listen up, Rocks. I don't know what I can say to console you. I don't know what happened to you either. But there's one thing I do recognize. I recognize your sorrow. And Rocks is still showing great emotion, even while under the effects of Dami Reversi. Still showing great emotion. Don't cry, you idiot. God of Fire Infinitum. So God of Fire Ace was Roger's attack, and then Infinitum Explosion was Garp's attack. So it says, the world government attempted to cover up everything that happened here. But the downfall of Rox D. Zebek and his lawless band of followers, the Rox Pirates, who wreaked havoc on their era, cast unmistakable reverberations that shook the very world. And then it's a call back to reverberations because this is the title chapter. All right, so we know the important things we got to discuss, right? We know the important things we got. Did his leg get cut off? Okay, Roger did a pretty good attack. Oh, so did Garp actually. So Garp punched holes through him. Roger cut. Looks like he's making him like Swiss cheese damn there. So this is a pretty good all-out attack. I wouldn't even try and scale it in terms of like, oh, you know, they were able to hurt Dami Versi Rox, so they scale to this. Like, the reason why we wouldn't do that is because this is an all-out attack. Like, this is putting every ounce of effort into one strike, right? But I mean, unless you're trying to get like their highest end, sure. But I wouldn't say, oh, like let's just say, for them to wound Rox, it would have cost. It would have took like mountain or country level AP. I'm then not saying, oh, Roger's country level. He wounded Rox. I mean, he technically he would be, right? But we understand that's not every strike, so I wouldn't do that. So guarding with Conqueror's Supreme King Haki, you can guard with it. And I think we've only ever seen this, and maybe we've seen it one time in this chapter when I referenced the sword strike on his arm. I think this is the same thing. If this sword is actually touching him, I think he'd be guarding with Conqueror's Haki here. And then if you guys go back and look at Luffy versus Kaido, there's a part where Luffy is like attacking Kaido, and Kaido's not doing anything. He's basically just sitting there, and he's kind of walking to Luffy, and Luffy's attacks seem to just bounce right off of Kaido. I think that would be another instance of guarding with Conqueror's Haki, like putting it over yourself. Now, this is some shit that the Naruto community wishes their characters could do. They would die for a statement and then a feat to actually show some shit like this, right? But the closest they're going to get to is Amado saying, oh, Kawaki, I can transfer your attack and defense from 0 to 100. Kind of like how Ninja controlled chakra. All the while it's not knowing that he's not saying Ninja can control their chakra from 0 to 100 for attack and defense. He's just saying the way Ninja control chakra, I can control your energy. The difference is I can make you 100% lethal or 100% defensive. But you'll have some crazy people run with the narrative like, oh, Ninja could do this the whole time. And look, Amado just confirmed it. Like, no. Get a statement, get a feat, and then get some extra cushion. Statement right here. Where's it at? He was guarding with Supreme King 2. Statement right there. Where's the feat? Let's find it. Feat right here. Because he no-selled the attack. He didn't go anywhere. And then he just pushed him back. So we got the statement. We got the feat. What was the last thing I said? Extra cushion? If it all comes down to who wears who out first, we'll lose. We have to hit him with a critical mass of Supreme King Haki to surpass his own defenses. That's me putting that in the text. They didn't say that. But that's basically what they have to do. This is the extra cushion. They're reinforcing something that was already established that they said. So you know what this does for us now, right? This brings on the table of, all right, if you are, let's just say someone like Shanks. We know Shanks is a human. We know Zoro's a human. We know Luffy's a human, right? And these guys seem to survive like, crazy stunts. And Luffy and Zoro were doing this way before hockey even existed. So, but now it's like, all right, if we put them in a versus battle, it's like we have to start considering these things, especially if they start using it, right? Which eventually I'm pretty sure at least Luffy will. We know Zoro uses just regular armament hockey to block most of his attacks. Like when Kang exploded and self-destructed, Zoro just used armament to block that. But again, hopefully we get a good scaling chain for how effective defending with Conqueror's hockey is. Because if we don't really get any numbers or any good, fights while people are using this method of blocking, then it's really not going to be worth much. All right. So that's the end of this chapter. Let me think. Is there anything else we want to go over? Man, they really did a number on this, man. Like, they really did a number. Yeah, they really did a number. Let me think. Is there anything else we want to cover? He did a solo sky split. He was able to take on Rox, or Rox was able to take on Garp and Roger. I think my problem with this fight is that it wasn't an overwhelming display of violence from Rox. And I understand he still has some emotion, which could be impacting his performance. So I think I can give him a pass because even at the end of the fight, he's still crying. So it's possible, it's extremely likely actually that he probably wasn't doing his best here. So I guess I'm okay with all that. Although, for Rox to only fight Harold and Garling is like criminal. Because we can't even count this fight because it's not his own power. Like, we can't really use this Dami Reversing Rox to, like, I can't cross-verse him against anyone in any manga. It wouldn't really serve to do anything. So, but I think that's all I got for you guys in this chapter. Yeah. All right, we're just going to finish this up. One Piece, chapter 1166. All right, so it looks like we have Rox, Roger, Garp. Has the curse worn off? Looks like Rox is conscious. Roger and Garp look like to be unconscious. Will I leave this island alive? And then we see three figures approaching. Looks like Garling's one of them, and then two other God's Knights. Is that Somers? Probably Somers. Nope, guess not. Roger, Garp, you better run. No reason to stick around here and die with me. Okay, so we don't know how far these figures are from Rox, but they're all unconscious. That's all we know right now. Or these two are unconscious, but we don't know how far the God's Knights are. Oh, right. Forgot to say one thing. I'm glad you stopped me. And then we have Garling finishing off Rox with a sword stab to the throat, maybe. It looks like a heart or maybe throat. Thanks. So, Garling finished off Rox. And he couldn't do anything about it because when Dami Reversi wore off, he was just a regular guy. Okay. So where's Rox? You're worried about your enemy? You guys are my enemies too. What happened to Rox, Rayleigh? They killed him. Now, this never sat well with me. I don't know how people are gonna, maybe the anime will do a really good job of explaining how this could happen. Because when we see Rox, he's clearly next to Garp and Roger. So you're telling me they had time to get Garp and Roger, but it's fuck you Rox. And it very well might have been that, but it's like, these three just let the other two run with Garp and Roger? Again, it's possible. But I'm assuming, like, why wouldn't Gaban really just take out these God's Knights? Like, this would have been light work for them. Or at least it should have been. I can't think of a reason why they would leave Rox. Like, just kind of weird. Alright, like a curtain falling on a stage, the island crumbled upon itself and was shrouded in deep mist. This is a broad account of what happened in the mysterious, obscure God Valley incident. Mysterious, my bad. In the mysterious, obscure God Valley incident. Let's make our escape. Full speed ahead. But after a brief moment of silence, a massive lightning bolt with countless branches split the sky. And with that, a number of new stories began. Like, is that due to Kaido flying? Because he can cause lightning too. Yeah, I'm not sure what caused lightning though. That's interesting. All right, we still gotta wait. Yes, not until Roger wakes up. Hurry up, Captain Roger. I want to open those chests. Sorry to worry you all like that. Ah, good, you're better now. Anyway, check this out. Were you really worried for me or not? We got Shaki out safe and sound. And we made off with all this treasure. Wow, what a haul. Hey, that came from inside the chest. There's something in there. Careful when you open it. And we got baby Shanks, thus giving us the origin of Red-Haired and the Red-Haired Pirates. The downfall of the Rocks Pirates. The story, of course, was heavily sanitized and prominently featured the exploits of Garp the hero. The Rocks Pirates are done for. Rocks is dead. Look at that. They're happy. They're throwing a celebration in the streets. I just knew Vice Admiral Garp was the real strongest man around. Garp. 3 cheers for Garp. Hip hip. Hooray. Hip hip. Hooray. Now there's a true hero. So I guess they're giving Garp the credit for actually defeating / killing Rocks. And I thought it was Garling they called the hero of God Valley. Or the champion of God Valley. He had some title, something of God Valley. Alright. What is this drivel? Vice Admiral Garp, stop. Bring me those Morgan guys. He needs to answer for this. Oh, stop it, Garp. The government clearly paid him off to write this. The world government and the Navy are both massive organizations. If you include the militaries of all the member countries, there are tens of millions of soldiers across the world. It's impossible to be completely aware of what every last one of them is doing. So when I notice that the upper management is doing something insane, I can just look the other way. What the fuck? Like, did he really just say that? Did Sengoku really just say that? Let me read that again, because it sounds like he's like almost being compliant. If something's bad, he's just not going to say anything. Like, let me read that one more time. The world government and the Navy are both massive organizations. If you include the militaries of the member countries, there are tens of millions of soldiers across the world. It's impossible to be completely aware of what every last one of them is doing. So when I notice that the upper management is doing something insane, I can just look the other way. Yeah, I don't get that. Okay, now it looks like Garp is fighting him to some degree. He says, "That's what I hate about you, Sengoku. You ladder-climbing fool. Shut up. What is barking from the bottom of the cliff gonna accomplish? If you turn out like them, I'm gonna kill you myself." Well, with friends like that, how can you possibly go wrong? Yeah, like his ideology is actually like very concerning. Like, I don't think he should be in the Marines. Like, you are not fit for war, son. Don't tell me you're quitting, Garp. You some kind of idiot. I've got plenty to protect down at the bottom of the cliff, as you call it. Yeah, it's surprising that they're really even friends like that. Like, that thinking is just so like poor. So we got Loki crying over Rox's death. You're back again. I'm not taking you with me. Those were Rox's last words to Loki. How many times do I have to say it, Squirt? You really think I take kids onto my crew? What a mess. Ignored by the guy whose attention I want, and followed around by some annoying snot-nosed brat instead. I think you're Nika, Rox. Nika, the warrior of liberation. He laughs as he tears down the world. He tears it down? Well, I'm going to be king of the world. If anyone's got that kind of power, it's Harold. So Loki knowing about Nika is not surprising because in Elbaf they worship the sun god, and the sun god is Nika. So that's not surprising. What is somewhat surprising is that Rox didn't know about Nika, but he knows about Joy Boy, and Joy Boy ate the Gumu Gumu or the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. So it's interesting that Rox wouldn't know about Nika. I mean, I guess it just goes to show he doesn't know every damn thing, which is cool, but you know. Listen to this, Loki. Slumbering somewhere out there in the world is a bunch of incredible destroyers by the name of the Galilea. And the guy who can actually control them is your old man. I could have all the outlaws in the world under my command. So the fact that this is being brought up in the flashback, and Rox has already passed away, these Galilea giants are going to be extremely important coming down the line. And it's bolded too. I don't know if you guys can tell. That's like bolded. If me and Harold team up, who could possibly stop us? Wow, that's so cool. So why doesn't my dad team up with you? Because of love. But I'll keep coming back 100 times, 200 times, as many as it takes. And it's just really sad that Rox really viewed him as a close friend. You could even argue brother. And brothers fight, but they make up. And when your brother calls on you, the only thing you should say is, yes, I can do it. But we didn't get that from you, did we, Harold? You didn't answer Rox's call. You let him go out there and die. All right. There's been an assault on King Harold of Elbaf. Has he hurt any civilians? It's a giant ruffian that he's beating, but it's so brutal. You still don't get it, do you? Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I'll never pillage the humans again. You don't get it. None of you do. And Harold continues to punch whatever giant he's reprimanding. All of you scum with size as your only quality are the ones who built the giant's history of terror. And because of you, no one believes in us. They don't believe that we seek a peaceful seat among the nations of the world. So he is going to town on this guy. And you can clearly see he's taking his rage out for Rox's death on this guy. That's most likely what he's doing. Your Majesty, he's unconscious. I wanted Elbaf to join the world government to avoid losing their faith. And that was why I couldn't help him. Whoever's side fortune isn't on doesn't feel like mine. So lend me your aid. Yeah, I hope you hear Rox's voice until the day you die, Harold, and you live with it. I really do. My greatest friend. Oh, now he's your friend. But when he asked you for help on your ship, you turned him down. My greatest friend begged me for help, and I turned my back on him. I left him there to die. Harold's like that father that always chooses work over his family. And then one day when he looks up, his family has passed away. They've died of fucking cancer or a car crash. And then he regrets every moment not spending with his family. That's what Harold reminds me of. Now, I cannot turn back from this path. I refuse to overlook the evil of the giants. Okay, so we go down. It says the king of the giants becomes deranged. They still talking shit about you, Harold. All right, I'm quitting the Navy, Dad. I know. And on that topic, I'm disgusted with you. I know. So he gives Dragon the key because Dragon would have got executed most likely. Like Dragon would have been, they would have made an example out of Dragon. Like he might have actually been a slave in Marijoa. Actually, like I could see them doing that. Like, yeah, this was the rookie Marine who shot a Celestial Dragon, who took a fellow Marine captive. This is the guy. Death is too good for you, sir. You're gonna work the field. Harold, I've made up my mind, Ida. Chief Jarl, it's time for me to set aside these half measures. Hadruden, Loki, you are my sons, and I love you both, and you are magnificent. I want you two to work together to support Elbath after I'm gone. I'm very sorry, King Harold, but I've been instructed not to allow you to land. So it looks like he's pulling up to, is that Marine Ford? That looks like Marine Ford, actually. Yeah, that's Marine Ford. So Harold pulled up to Marine Ford. Officers of the Navy and dignitaries of the world government, please hear me out. Like, I wonder when Harold's yelling, does it sound like a typhoon or earthquake to normal people who are like sleeping and working a job? Like, I wonder if he just creates massive wind from the yelling. So it looks like he's gripping his horns, and from what we can tell, he's pulled out his horns, and this took a lot of guts and tenacity to do that. I would assume. Maybe I would equate it to what, peeling off a fingernail. Maybe. Sorry for the visual if that's nasty for you. But he pulls out his horns and he's bleeding profusely, like a lot. Allow me this chance to atone for 1,000 years of history. I want to apologize for all the mistakes that Giant Khan has made. I wish to prove my oath of peace so that the children of Elbath can lead fruitful lives. Like, it begs the question, were they not leading fruitful lives just being themselves? Were they not living fruitful lives just being known as the warriors of Elbath, giants, like Warland? Like, what was so bad about the culture, Harold, that you had to neuter it and debase it down to a culture of people who are pacifists? Because ultimately, that's what you want. I wish to prove my oath of peace so that the children of Elbath can lead fruitful lives without hurting anyone, so that they can live hand in hand with humanity. I want a chance to atone for our sins. If that means I must be a slave, so be it. Yeah, we are revoking Harold's Conquers Hockey user card. We're revoking it. Like, this is just nasty. It's so nasty. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. It's wild. It's crazy. But that's the end of the chapter. Is there anything I want to talk about? Let's see. Sengoku's wild. I don't know why the lightning came down here. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Looks like the island was imploding, like eating itself whole. It's unclear how Gabon and Rayleigh just saved. Like, because if that's the case, why didn't you leave Garp? You guys didn't need to bring Garp. You could have just left Garp. If the argument is, well, Rox is their enemy, so was Garp. You could have just left Garp for dead too. Now, granted, the Celestial Dragons might not have killed Garp. I could see them doing it, actually. Because they want no witnesses. They want nobody to know what happened on God Valley. Excuse me, God Valley. But yeah, I just genuinely don't like that. It's hard for me to conceptualize. But that concludes the Rox flashback, guys. Thank you for taking this time to hear me read. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the first episode especially. I would have liked to continue using that voice, but it's very straining, and it takes a lot more time to read the entire chapter. So I had to go with something that was more comfortable and that could expedite the process. I think the next one we will do is an Emu read. Maybe when Emu's actual body comes, we'll read all the way from there, and we'll kind of catch up. That might take some time because currently we're on Brooks flashback, so that's where we are. But if you guys have any other suggestions, things you would like me to read specifically about One Piece, let me know, and we'll consider doing it. So this has been the One Tay, and we are out.